Good morning. I have looked forward to being able to be here and be with you and be a part of this. It's fun to renew old acquaintances. There have been a few times that our paths have gotten to cross. Sometimes it was via traveling, and we would just call each other up and say, hey, how about we'll meet at a restaurant, and that's what we did. And I appreciate David offering the invitation and the opportunity to be here. Just so you're aware, as you can already tell, I'm a little bit of a pacer. And so I won't be standing still. I do that because it makes me feel like I get better connection with my audience. So that's what I'll be doing. This week we're going to be talking about God is amazing. And it is an amazing God that we serve. And the scriptures reveal that to us. And throughout the scriptures, we're reminded of his creation. Author after author after author will highlight creation. And they'll highlight it to say how powerful God is. And they'll highlight it to say how wonderful God is. And they'll highlight it to say how marvelous God is. And how we should be amazed and fear and trembling at his feet because he created this world. And yet we live in a world where people go, no, he didn't create. It just happened. It just came about. And I find that very, very difficult to buy into. I find it very difficult to accept. I find it very difficult, if I'm going to be a Christian, to not acknowledge the fact that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If I don't start there, nothing else really makes any difference. And the interesting thing is that's exactly how God started his book. This is his book. This isn't 40 different authors' book. This is God's book. And tonight we're going to look at God's amazing revelation. But let's begin Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Then God said, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, so evening and morning were the second day. Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God said, let there be light in the firmament of heavens, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. He set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then God said, let the waters abound with abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens. So God created sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded according to their kind, every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful, multiply, fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Then God said, Let the earth bring forth a living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female. He created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. And also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the 6th day. What a powerful way to open up a revelation to us. And as I said earlier, author after author after author kept coming back to this. They kept reminding their audience, God created. There's his power. Can God get us out of this bondage situation? Yes, God created. Can God help us in this time of drought? Yes, God created. Can God help us in this time of flood? Yes, God created. Can God help me in my time of sorrow? Yes, God created. Over and over and over again. And they were looking at the same earth that we're looking at. And so David writes in Psalm 19, we're not advancing. I'm hitting the wrong button. In Psalm 19, David writes, The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There's no speech nor language where the voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. And so many other Psalms David writes, and we're going to look at several Psalms this morning, parts of all of them. But notice this. This is a modern day picture of that same sky that David was looking at. Isn't that awesome? When he writes, the heavens declare the glory of God. He's looking at that sky. Now this sky, because of the city and the lights of the city and what's going on there on the ground, isn't as bright as it was for David. Why? Because lights destroy that. But he can look up at that sky and he's going, God created. We've sent satellites into space. We've sent the Hubble telescope into space. And we get a picture like this. And with this picture, they say to us, that is a picture of what it looks like of 70 billion light years. And I look at that picture and I say, that's what it looks like when it says God created the heavens. That's awe and wonder. That's just amazing. That's not 70 billion light years. It's just God showing, I'm powerful. I have might. You can trust me when I say, do this, I'll take care of you, that I will take care of you. They talk to us about Big Bang and explosions and that's how the world came into being. This is a life cycle of a supernova, massive stars. Okay? It starts with this little interstellar medium and neutron. Then it becomes the star forming into a nebula. Then we have this form, then this form. Then it becomes the super red giant. Then all of a sudden it explodes, and we're left with this, which some of it will become a black hole, some of it will become a neutron, and some of it will get recycled. This is what it looks like when a supernova starts to explode. This is what it looks like when a supernova has finished exploding. Now, folks, I look at those sequences and those pictures of that, and I go, we started by a Big Bang? Sorry. That looks more like it's got some kind of form and shape than that does. That just looks like chaos. This looks like it's got a lot more form and shape. And yet that's in the midst of it exploding, according to their pictures. And this is after it's done. No. I find Genesis 1 much more easy to believe. God created. In the beginning, God created. Here's our solar system. It's an amazing solar system. It's such an amazing solar system. And here's our planet, right here, Earth. It's such an amazing solar system. It's such an amazing situation. Because if this planet was just a few percentage points closer, we couldn't inhabit this earth. It would be burned up. It would be too hot. Everything would be a mess. We couldn't be here. If we were just a few percentage points this way, we couldn't be here. All the water would freeze. It'd be total frost. Everything frozen. We couldn't live. There couldn't be any plants. We couldn't inhabit this earth. And yet, since God created the heavens and the earth, this earth has been in that perfect position. Now, our scientists are trying to figure out how can we live on this planet and that's not going to work. God intended for us to be on this one. But they're trying to figure it out. Because they see this one is going to end one day. And they're right. Peter tells us there's coming a day when the Lord's coming back and the earth and the elements in it will melt with fervent heat. Yes, this earth's coming to an end, but there's not going to be another planet for us to run to. No, that will be the time of judgment. For us to live with judgment. There's so much precision. This is a rendering of the plan for the Artemis ship. There's so much precision that they could use a lot of the same data, the same calculations, the same flight plan. That flight plan is the same flight plan, or at least very, very similar flight plan from the 60s and the 70s. Why? Because we live in a very precise world. with the moon in a precise place. Folks, that Artemis trip should even further confirm for us God created the heavens and the earth. And so Psalm 8, verse 3 says, when I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit him? For you've made him a little lower than the angels, and you have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put him over, put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, even the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea that pass through the paths of the sea. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. I look at those and I'm going, wow, what an amazing God that's created us. And then I start looking at me and thinking about me and go, who am I? You created me. Psalm 139, verse 13 through 18. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Folks, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We have a heart, a true blood plump. That on average lasts about 73 years without ever taking a vacation. Without ever saying, you know what? I need a break. And I'm going to stop for a while on average. It runs for 73 years. And what does it do? It sends blood throughout this circulatory system. This circulatory system, if it was stretched out, would cover over 60,000 miles. Let that sink in a second. 60,000 miles. We think we have a vast nation, and we do. But from coast to coast, it's just a little over 3,000. 60,000 miles. Pumping for 73 years. And for the most part, without issue. Yes, I know there are heart problems. I know people do have heart attacks. I know the heart does stop. I know people don't make it to 73. And I know people who make it to over 100. But think about it. Oh yes, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. How about that skeleton that we have? There are 206 bones in our skeleton. And they are in perfect place, every single one of them, to perform a perfect function, every single one of them. Yes, they break, but that's our fault. That's not our Creator's fault. But what are the chances of a human skeleton coming together? 206 bones coming together perfectly in correct order, and that's an important and able to function. If you just threw 206 of them in a box, what's the chance of it coming out perfectly. Well, what is that chance? 1 in 5.5993974018162400797052566229229 to the power of 388. In our legal system, they would say that person is without a doubt the perpetrator of the crime. There's nobody else. And yet the world around us wants us to believe that we weren't fearfully and wonderfully made. It just happened. Oh, how about our eyeballs? Amazing things. Our eyeballs. We have, in just this part of it, we have the iris, we have the pupil, we have the eyelid, we have the sclera. All of them have to work perfectly for our vision, okay? But that's not all. We have the retina, we have the optic nerve, we have the inferior oblique muscle, the inferior rectus muscle, the superior rectus muscle, the conjunctiva, the cornea, the lens. They all work perfectly for most of us. Perfectly. And we just happen to be that way. We just kind of evolved into this. No, folks, I think we were fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 100. Psalm 100 says, "Make a joyful shout to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who has made us and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting and his truth endures to all generations." Folks, just between the firmaments above and we are fearfully and wonderfully made, that should be our mantra. Make a joyful shout to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. And yet we find it cumbersome to come before his presence. We find it difficult to come before his presence and praise him. Why? We should count it a privilege and an honor. But we count it a burden. We should count it as an event to be prepared for and made ready for. And we're not going to go there unprepared to meet our God. And yet, we'll scramble at the last second. Where did I put my Bible at? Oh, forgot to do the Bible lesson. Oh, well, it'll be okay. I don't have time to change and prepare my body for being in his presence. I don't have time to change my mindset and be in his presence. Oh, folks, our God is an amazing God. And we have the privilege of coming in his presence. And we should honor it as such. Psalm 148, verse 7. Psalm 148, verse 7. "Praise the Lord from the earth, you great sea creatures in all the depths, fire and hail, snow and clouds, stormy wind fulfilling his word, mountains and all hills, fruitful trees and all cedars, beasts and all cattle, creeping things and flying fowl, kings of the earth and all peoples, princes and all judges of the earth, both young men and maidens, old men and children. Even the creatures are a praise and honor and shout the glory of God. Think about the eagle. The eagle. The eagle soars 10 to 20,000 feet in the air. That's what most of our planes fly. 10 to 20, 30,000 feet. Sometimes an eagle can get to 30. Now think about the last time you flew and you looked out that window and look, and wow, I can't really even distinguish houses anymore. That eagle at 10 to 20,000 feet can focus his eye on a little bitty prey, be it in water or be it in the grass, and then make this dive from 10 to 20,000 feet and go straight down and take those talons and grab that prey, never having lost focus. What? "10 to 20,000 feet, never lose focuses and grabs the prey?" Yeah. Was not the eagle what we call in this country a majestic animal? Does not the eagle declare the glory of God and his praise? How about the old woodpecker? I've always thought they were an interesting bird, and I've always thought they would have never survived evolution. Because, folks, what they're doing is they're taking their beak, having sensed the creepy crawly bug or worm that they want is inside that tree, they take their beak and they start pounding on that tree. And pounding and pounding. I have one at my house right now. And he's working hard. But think about what that would have done to his beak if he was evolving. Think about what that would have done to his skull if he was evolving. Think about what that would have done to him trying to evolve to that. I think I would have probably said, you know what, I'm good, I'll find something else to eat. Because I find it aggravating when I symbolically am beating my head against the wall. And yet there's the old woodpecker doing it. And he not only has that hard beak enough to drill into the wood, then he has a tongue that's a spear. Because he takes that tongue and he shoots it out right into his prey for his meal. We're going to call that evolution. I call that creation. I call that creation. What about this spider? I don't know if you can really tell or not with this spider. This is a water spider. That right there is the nest. It is underwater. This spider catches air bubbles on those legs, takes them down into the water to the nest to fill the nest with air. And this just evolved. I find that hard to believe. How about salmon? Amazing creatures. Salmon are born and leave their place of birth and return to the same place to spawn and die every cycle. That's their cycle. But now get this. They're born away from where they're going to spend their time. And they go right where they're supposed to go. Without fail. Never having been there before. You want to see another interesting sea creature? The American and the European eels are born in the Bermuda area, the Sargasso Sea area, Bermuda area. That's where they're born. There has never been a case of recorded history of an English eel, a European eel being in America. And there has never been a report of an American eel being in Europe. But they're born here. And we evolved? I find this difficult, folks. How about some flowers? Isn't it an amazing thing that there are some flowers that know when it's daylight and they just open up, and they know when it's dark and they just close? And we're just, oh, it just happened. No, that tells me there's a creator. Or how about bats and owls? They can hunt at night. In the dead of night, in the dark of night, and find their prey. And they always hunt at night. They never mess up and go out at noon and I'm going to go hunting. I'm hungry. No. It's always in the dark. There are certain types of oysters that you can gather up. You can move them from their native place. You can move them to a completely and totally different time zone. And they still know when they're supposed to open up where they came from. The right time on the clock, as it was where they came from. And we're just happened? Oh, folks, I find that hard to believe. Psalm 96. And we'll end our class. Psalm 96. Oh, sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord, bless his name. Proclaim the good news of his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the nations, his wonders among all peoples. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods, and for all the gods of the peoples are idols. But the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give to the Lord, O families of the peoples. Give to the Lord glory and strength. Give to the Lord the glory due his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. O worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Tremble before him, all the earth. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. The world is firmly established. It shall not be moved. He shall judge the peoples righteously. Let the heavens rejoice. Let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar in all its fullness. Let the field be joyful and all that is in it. Then all the trees of the woods will rejoice before the Lord. For he is coming. For he is coming to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness, and the peoples with his truth. Our God is amazing. And we should be excited to come before his presence with singing. Because he's still coming. And he's going to judge the world in righteousness. And all those who have doubted that he created and that he sustains and that he will bring to an end will know it true. Thank you for your attention.